had felt a horrible sense of dread as I made my way down the long, dim corridor. The walls were a dark shade of gray, almost black. The carpeted floors were blood red and incredibly creepy. Why had I taken this dare? I was easily scared, but I didn't want them to know that. The only one who knew was Daniel, my best friend. I looked at the few pictures hanging on the wall. Each were similar. In each one, there was a family. No one looked at the camera. And lastly, no one smiled. They all looked as if they were as frightened as I was. And I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched as I continued down the hall. At last there was a chance to turn. There were plenty of chances to go into the rooms, but I was nowhere near that brave. So when I was just about to turn left, somebody with a horrible-looking face jumped out from behind the corner and screamed right into my ear. I fell in surprise, too scared to scream. Daniel took off the mask and laughed his ass off as he helped me up. "Daniel, God damn it, don't scare me like that." Hey, at least I didn't bring the others. That was true, but I didn't want to admit it. He had short blonde hair, a strong build, wasn't afraid of anything, and was a huge prankster. We were about to leave the supposedly haunted mansion when Daniel stopped, checked his phone, and said, "Whoops. Looks like it was Lucy's turn to dare somebody, and she picked us. Looks like we're staying for the night." Lucy was one of our friends who we were playing Truth or Dare with, without the truth part. "What?" I exclaimed. You are lying. You're lying. Let me see that." I took the phone from Daniel, and sure enough, there was a text from Lucy telling us to stay for the night. He must have known I was about to chicken out because he looked at me and said, "Madeline, it's okay. I won't let anything hurt you." I've always felt safe around my best friend, so eventually I calmed down as we explored our home for the night. One thing kept happening in this creepy mansion, and I didn't like it one bit. We were on one of the upper levels of the mansion when suddenly a big, fat, black cat came riding through the room, making a big clatter in the process. Don't ask me how or why the cat was fat living in an abandoned building. I don't know. Anyway, I started to hyperventilate, so Daniel gave me a brown paper bag. He carries one with him every time we hang out. I get scared a lot. And since that cat was still making me scared, he suggested we sleep downstairs. Once there, we made ourselves comfortable. We were just about to fall asleep when something in a room near ours started making noise, sort of like pots and pans falling to the ground. I started to hyperventilate again, and he suggested we, again, go downstairs. Now we were in one of the basements. When again, something scared me. We went farther down. It's like the mansion wanted us downstairs. And the farther down we went, the more the happenings scared me. But I didn't tell Daniel. I already felt guilty for making his night bad for him. And finally, we got to the bottom floor. No more happenings. I was still horrified, though. But I needed some sleep to escape in the morning. So I reluctantly fell asleep still by his side. When we woke up in the morning, we tried to open the door, but we missed the sign that read, "Welcome to the labyrinth. We hope your stay here is pleasant as you cannot leave the way you came. Therefore, have fun finding the exit." And sure enough, the door going up was locked. We had to find our own way now. We went farther into the strange maze, and we realized once we made any farther progress, something would keep us from going back, like the door. Here's an example. We turned left, found a dead end, went back the way we came, and took a right instead, and a boulder fell right in our path to go back. "Who the hell made this place?" I asked Daniel. "I have no clue whatsoever." Somewhere in the beginning, he found a journal that was totally empty, and when he went to bed, he would write in it. He seemed to be pretty into whatever he was writing, and after wondering whatever it was he was writing for a while, I fell asleep. 2 days went by and I started twitching. I had so many phobias, and being here actually activated every one of them. I hyperventilated all the time. I guess you could say I'm beginning to lose myself. And when we went to bed that day, I felt drawn to continue, and in a trance, I sat up and walked on. Daniel woke up when I started walking, so he walked with me, no questions asked, as if he knew something was wrong. When finally we made it to a big open space with a pantry full of canned goods, the kind that never gets old, and a kitchen lined up against a wall, I started eating immediately, as did Daniel. We just realized how starving we were. Almost the entire time, none of us said anything. So after my third can of pre-baked beans, I sat on the couch on the other side of the big break room. So did Daniel. We were confused when suddenly the strange things started happening again. And when the same cat from earlier appeared, even though, even for a cat, it was impossible to get there, I finally snapped. I admit it. It's not normal to admit to going crazy, but finally admitting it made me feel good. Feel alive, in fact. That strange cat followed me around the entire time, as if to say, "You and I are the same. We are now family." And I couldn't agree more. I grew used to him, and I even secretly named him. I named him KC, short for Killer Cat. I woke up the next morning to find KC had left. I was upset. I started frantically searching for him. I knew he was around here somewhere. Daniel woke up and said, "Dude, what the hell is the matter with you?" I frantically replied, "KC, where the hell is he?" "What? That stupid cat?" I don't know. I stopped, grabbed a kitchen knife that we used to open the cans, and I held it to his throat and screamed, "Where the hell is he? What did you do?" "What? Madeline, calm down, take it easy," I whispered into his ear while furiously twitching. "I will not take it easy until my brother is back." "Oh my God, Madeline, you've gone mad." Yes, I have gone mad, or haven't I always been that way? Oh, it made me feel so happy to finally tell my new best dad friend about how absolutely crazy I've gone. And without warning, I slit Daniel's throat, enjoying the way his blood painted my face that was still so close to his ear. And as his body fell to the floor, I saw KC standing in the doorway. His eyes glowed a strange yellow. That was one of my favorite things about him. He ran up to me and let me pick him up and kiss his forehead. That's when I put him back down and grabbed Daniel's bag, phone, and journal. I emptied his bag of his things and replaced them with 10 cans of food, the phone, which still had no service. And before I put away the journal, I read the last thing he wrote. "I 100% wish I hadn't asked Madeline to stay here. Each day I've been helplessly watching her as she fell farther away from insanity. I'm not sure if we'll ever make it out alive, but if we do, I hope this journal will reach anyone who ever thinks about staying here for the night. P.S. That fucking cat is freaking me the hell out. Why won't it just leave? Then, still not feeling bad about killing him, I put the journal away. I wiped some of his blood off my cheek. It actually tasted pretty good. And I wiped, and almost as if I was now a vicious stray, I licked my lips, clutched the knife in my hand, and cut off his finger, and ate it as a snack, and I loved every bit of it. I licked my lips as I clutched the knife in my hand, and I followed the cat out of the maze. I left the mansion picking up KC and putting him on my shoulder as I left the mansion. As I walked out the door, I already left the mansion, didn't I? Right. I walked into the woods surrounding the mansion, and I cleaned up my face and went to the nearest motel, hiding the cat in my bag. I didn't pay, of course. I just killed the owner and woman behind the counter, and I took the rest of the food and fingers and slept and left. But I didn't leave as Madeline Jones. No, I left as Madeline the killer, the killer cat's sister. Madeline the cannibal, and Madeline the crazed. And he never left me. Even still today, he's still sitting on my lap as I retell the best days of my life. The days I became Madeline the crazed. The end. That was just another one of my creepy stories, narrated by Lady Creepy, signing off.